right. I recruited a $2.5 million sales team as a university student, and today I'm going to tell you exactly how I did that. If you don't know who I am, I use a little bit of my credentials. I help run a marketing company where we teach young people sales. I've done well over $500,000 in personal sales revenue, managed teams in several countries across, or in several cities across the country. I've built and ran the number one team in the entire country in the industry this year, and I did all this while being a full-time university student. Before we talk about exactly how I recruited people personally for my team, I just want to give more of a brief overview on recruiting as a whole. First thing you need to know about recruiting is who you're trying to recruit in the first place. For myself, in my program, we're generally giving opportunities to university students in the summertime. So being young, entrepreneurial, hardworking, open-minded, that is going to be my ideal client. Depending on what the perfect person looks like for you, you might need to use different recruiting methods. Now, there's a ton of different ways to recruit people: billboards, radio, TV, social media, recruiting agencies, flyers, posters, presentations, like the list goes on and on. But you're going to want to choose what fits best for you based on your ideal client. Couple, normal pitfalls that you should be avoiding is stereotypical recruiting isn't always the best, right? The first thing you think when you think of advertisements is going to be radio, billboards, TV, that sort of stuff. But I encourage you to think out of the box. There's a lot of ways to recruit people, to find people that might be interested in what you have to offer without going down the traditional path, especially because those traditional methods of recruiting are typically the most expensive. And if you're a university student like I was, well, you definitely don't have the money to pay for a billboard or radio ad or TV ad or anything like that. And so you're going to need to go on the more friendly or budget friendly route. You don't need to spend a bunch of money to make money. There are a ton of ways to recruit people, even, your ideal client, without spending much, if not any money at all. Last thing to keep in mind is that volume, the amount of people that you need to reach before you get a client, or you find someone to hire, is going to be way, way higher than you think. The amount of effort that you're going to need if you're doing any of these is going to be significantly above what you originally think it is. And so keep that factored in. You're always going to have to do 10 times more than you think you're going to have to do if you're going to want to get the results that you want. Okay, now let's talk about exactly how I specifically found talented sales reps. And obviously keep in mind, around the number one team in the entire industry in the country this year. And a big reason I was able to do that is just because I recruited more than everyone else. We hired on my team more people than any other team in the country. And so it's not a huge surprise that we ended up selling more revenue than every other team in the country. This is Team Ottawa here. And so there's three main ways that I went about doing that this year. And so we're going to go through each one of these individually. The first and most budget-friendly option for any other university students like I was last year is your own personal network. You already know a ton of people exactly like yourself that would be interested in the opportunity that you're pursuing. Friends, family, colleagues, coworkers, classmates, whatever it is, you should be reaching out to a lot of people. At least 100 people that would either be good at the position that you're offering or might know someone that would be interested in the position that you're offering. Okay, so your personal network's a lot bigger than you initially think it is, because you can reach out to friends of friends. You can reach out to colleagues of family members. And that's how a lot of the people that I hired this year found out about the job. Now, the second option, and this is still fairly budget friendly, and this is how I got the vast majority of the quantity of applicants this year. A lot of quality from your personal network, but for quantity, campus recruiting for me is amazing, especially given the ideal client that I'm looking for. Again, my program is really, really specialized to giving university students summer sales opportunities. And so the best way to find students, it's not a billboard, it's not a radio ad, TV, anything like that. It's going right on campus. And so going to job fairs, right, where people are literally looking for employment, doing class talks, going before the professor starts the course in a large auditorium or theater and speaking in between or in front of 1 to 300 students, explaining your job offer and why they might be interested in it. Is it scary? Yeah, of course. Are you going to get a lot of applicants from it? Also, yes. Flyering can be great too. That's what I'm going to be focused on a lot this year. Putting down flyers on desks, putting them on the job boards, putting them in, cafeteria, wherever you're allowed, so that people can look at the flyer and then apply to the job if they're interested. Now, the third, and also a great one, but you got to be able to do this right, is paid recruiters. Now, there's two things that can make this a very negative experience. One is it can be costly. If you're reaching out to traditional job sites, ZipRecruiter, Indeed, or a normal recruiting agency that isn't specialized in what you do, you're going to end up paying a lot of money for a lot of nothing. And the reason behind that is they're not aligned perfectly with what you want and your vision. They're aligned with getting you a lot of applicants. If they're paid per person that they bring to you, then they're only incentivized to bring you a lot of people. And so that's great for quantity. It's not great for quality, which is at the end of the day what you need if you're going to look towards running a very, very high producing sales team. You need quality over quantity. And so you got to be able to align your visions on that and have the people looking for quantity still, but of quality above all. And the best way to do that is to pay them, not based on how many people they bring in, but based on how many people that you hire, or even better, based on how well those people perform when they're selling. And so that's what I did. I hired 2 amazing assistant managers that went out and recruited a large part of the team this year. And they were so incentivized to do so because they're getting paid a lot of money based on how well those sales reps did. And so they wanted to make sure they brought a lot of people in, but that they were also super skilled and highly trained so that they can go off and make a ton of sales. And that also helps in terms of cost. If you're a university student, you don't have a lot of money to pay people up front. You can pay them on the back end after you get the money in from the sales rep selling. And so that's exactly what I did. And I was able to do all this at no cost. So I was basically able to recruit my whole team for no money up front, right? Now, it ended up costing me a lot of money because the team performed super well for paid recruiters, but that's totally fine because I also made a lot of money along the way. Campus recruiting, personal network, paid recruiters, all these can be done on a very, very budget-friendly way if you're willing to get creative with it. Now, what's my plan for 2026? First of all, 2025 went amazing, so I'm not going to be changing much. Don't fix what isn't broken, just do more of it. That's always been my methodology. More campus recruiting, more personal network referrals, more paid recruiters. I'm just going to be doing more volume. Okay, and why am I doing more volume? How am I doing that? Why didn't I do more of it last year? Well, a couple things have changed. No longer in school, and so I'm not bound geographically to my hometown, which means that I can go to campuses all across the country. I can go wherever I want now. And so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be able to reach more students, help more people, get more people into the program by going to multiple campuses across the country. Second, for personal networks and referrals, every year that I do this job, I continue to make more money, to gain more skills, to have a more amazing and interesting life. And so my own personal network becomes more and more interested in the opportunity. Right? The first year that I did this, when I was making $5K as a month as a rookie sales rep, not necessarily super appealing to a ton of people. But now that I'm making $50K a month, well, people are a lot more interested in the opportunity and sales in general. And then finally, in terms of paid recruiters, my program's grown a ton. A lot of the sales reps that sold with me this year are going to be coming back in leadership positions, and so I'm able to leverage their personal networks to help build the program as well. Now, the third thing here, social media. This is the only thing that I'm doing differently and trying out new this year to reach a little bit more of a broad audience. It's one of the main reasons why I'm filming these videos right now is obviously to help you. Hopefully you learn something in each one of these and you can actually take value out of this. And then hopefully also you're like a younger version of myself that is in university, wants to learn sales, wants to make a bunch of money, wants to travel, and wants to, maybe run their own business and be entrepreneurial in the future. And so you're watching this and you think, well, shit, Skylar clearly knows what he's doing. maybe I can go learn from him. Maybe I should reach out and learn a little bit more about the opportunity that he's providing, which I highly recommend everyone watching this do. 6:30 in the morning, dead tired, about to start flyering. Next grade entrepreneur is going to scan one of these flyers. It's my job to make sure that he finds them. First day flyering, already got kicked out of the school. Came yesterday, turned out it was Labor Day, so it was closed. Up again early this morning, start flyering, get in like maybe 15-20 minutes worth of work. Security comes, not allowed to do this, that, the other. Big waste of time, so now I'll have to leave this school for now. One other university I can try to hit now that it opens tomorrow will be the first day of classes, so make good use of that for the next few weeks and then head back out to Winnipeg and start flying there too. It's a shame. Okay, as you saw, I got kicked off campus on my first day. Actually on my first day, there wasn't even school open. I stupidly went on Labor Day, so I'm still an idiot. I still make mistakes on this stuff. But first day actually on campus, I got kicked out. That happens sometimes. Security guards, janitors, not a huge fan. Occasionally of flyering or speaking to the class and recruiting there. So I'm expecting that. Not the first time it's happened. Not going to be the last time it's happened. So that was a little bit of a waste of time, but still went out a couple more days after that. In week 1 and 2 recruiting on campus there. Got a total of about 130 applicants so far, which is amazing. Averaging about 15 applicants per day right now. On average, going to hire maybe 1-2% of the people that actually apply for the position. I'm pretty strict about who I let into the program. Really only looking for the best of the best that can perform at a high level. And so that just means that I got to bump up my recruiting numbers. I'll be going on a big recruiting trip right away that I'm going to be taking you guys with me for. So hopefully we'll get a couple hundred apps from that as well. But that's pretty much everything I had for you today. See you in the next one.